The views and opinions expressed on this station do not reflect the owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 24th day of November, 2020. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Carla Zul. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you haven't already, share the link, start a watch party, retweet it. Just get the conversation out there to your network. A good one today, as we are going to be talking about the beauty and health industry with Maxine Simms from Maxilous Salon. The daily play is a remember when. So Carla is guessing the answer to a history question, and I'm not going to criticize
She's gonna get it right.
history, Carla, or Work Academy because I know that's what you all were expecting. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to do it today. How are you feeling this Tuesday, Carla?
I actually feel so much better today. I was very tired yesterday. I went to bed early, like 11:30. That's early. But I was up at 6:30. Oh my goodness, how rude.
You know, Carla, I'm no doctor, right? But getting good rest is important to your health and well-being, okay?
I know.
So you should probably go to bed a bit. I think I went to bed pretty late last night, actually. See, look at our standards, how they differ. That's early for you. So what's normal for you in terms of going to bed?
Between 1 and 2.
Oh, hell no. I'm on my third dream by then. No, no, no.
It's funny, right? Because sometimes I talk to my cousins in my family chat. They
Mhm.
go to bed and I am up when they go to bed and I'm up when they wake up.
Really? That
Yeah.
is, yeah, especially with the time difference, right? No, I'm usually my bedtime is no later than 10 p.m. US East Coast time, but a lot of times I do go over depending on show prep for today, which I try to do early. But so many things happen in the evening, especially when government has their nice press conferences.
That's early, but see, I would hope I could do that, but I do a lot of stuff on East Coast time and being in the UK, that's depending on 4 or 5 hour time difference. And
Mhm.
then added with that, like last week for football, I drove like a lot of miles. What's 40 times six? I drove that last week alone. 240 miles for
Mhm.
football training. So I try to rest in the car or relax in the car, not while I'm driving, while I'm at training.
No, I was just gonna say that you probably have one of those smart cars that drives you. You don't drive it.
I don't trust those. Mm-mm.
Mm.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, some of us have got to make smart decisions, and not the smart car. But Carla, it is another day, and it looks like yesterday's press conference. There are additional new cases in Bermuda.
Yeah.
Was it
So I saw
8?
8. Yeah.
Hmm. Is there a way we can put a positive spin on this? You think?
Yeah. That is not 9.
I'm trying to be fair.
No. No. I mean, I a friend of mine shared a lashing that I got yesterday from the post that I did on Sunday about, oh well, she needs to mind her business and worry about what's in the UK. But it's like, and I get that comment pretty often. However, I think it's time for Bermudians to start rethinking their actions, because if I recall correctly, at the press conference, Minister Wilson said that only one was imported and the rest were community. We cannot ignore that, people. So somewhere in there, adults or whomever's traveling
Hold on,
are
hold on, hold on,
not.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Because did you just say what he said? 7 locally transmitted.
Yeah.
What you said?
So we
Interesting.
yeah, so we have to look at our the collective we have to look at our actions because we're clearly letting our guard down and what have you. And so I mean I'm not trying to be a hater, but you all need to just relax yourselves and really
So
stay in your spaces.
before we get into this, I just want to go back to something you said that I always find interesting. In the beginning of what you just started saying, you said that someone said, "Why don't you mind your business and focus on what's going on in the UK?"
Oh, all the time.
But
Not just for this, all the
let,
time.
let me address this. Let me address this. Anyone whose brain is too small to understand that people who live outside of Bermuda have just as much a right to be concerned about what's going on in the country of their birth, the country that they love, and the country that they still contribute to,
And pay taxes and a
and,
mortgage.
and pay taxes, probably more taxes than you. Anyone who can't comprehend that and uses the argument that they're not even in Bermuda, with all due respect, and I say all due respect,
Here it comes.
that's not probably not a good way to start it. But it's not other people's fault that you haven't grown or left Bermuda or sought opportunities outside of Bermuda. I don't take kindly to those comments because people leave Bermuda for very different reasons. Credit to people who stay in Bermuda and find a way. Credit to them. But don't disregard Bermudians who have left the island that are still contributing to Bermuda simply because their opinion differs from you. There are a lot of people, a lot of Bermudians outside of Bermuda still contributing to you, people who make those comments. So be easy with that. Seriously, be easy with that. We are all
It doesn't bother me anymore.
No, it doesn't bother me, but what I'm trying to do is get people to learn from this. Like we're all in this together. And the fact that we're willing to even discuss what's going on in Bermuda, we're trying to find the positives. We're trying to find solutions. I don't want to see people living in bondage, feeling trapped in homes, which is why I said, what are the positives that come out from yesterday? And instead of talking about the things that we don't like about the coronavirus and the shutdowns, what are some positives we can take away from this? How can we take responsibility for ourselves, as Carla mentioned yesterday, and make this work for us as a country and people? Because I don't know about you, Carla, but I actually wanted to go home to see my family and friends for Christmas. Doesn't look likely now.
Yeah, I did, and Corona and BA prices wouldn't let me be great. It's weird you say that because this morning I felt some way, and I think that's actually why I went to bed last night because I really want to be home. I've never been home for Christmas since I left in 2016, and I really want to be there, and I just can't. And so this morning I was feeling a bit emotional about it because I'm just like, you know, it is what it is. But I would say a positive out of this virus is that people take the opportunity to appreciate the blessings in whether it's their family, their friends, or what have you, because like have that downtime. Like why I don't even like I see some New Year's people talking about New Year's Eve parties. Like, why would you thinking about a party? Use this time to stay home together and have some fun together. But
Uh,
that's
uh,
just maybe where I'm at.
I mean, I was one of those people thinking about the Christmas parties and stuff. I can't lie, But back to everyone else that's important. We have some comments. Elizabeth says people won't act right till we go back into lockdown or someone else dies. James Birch says the positive spin is it seems to be a tight cluster of people, mostly at a place of business.
But
Uh,
this is where I disagree. Can I
Elizabeth says, and 6 of them in one workplace. Go ahead.
Right. But those six people go home, whether they're locals or not, or guest workers, they still go home. So that's how it can spread so quickly. And I think that that is the good part, at least for being able to track it. But the contracting side of it, you have to be careful because you could have passed that person in the grocery store and put your hands on the card that they used previous. It's
Indeed.
that easy.
Summer Richardson says one positive is that we can stop pretending we can beat a disease. It's unrealistic. And if our borders are open, we all need to take personal responsibility and stop waiting for government to tell us what that looks like. this goes to so many things that we talk about on a regular basis. Again, we talked about personal responsibility yesterday, but I keep telling you all, stop waiting on government. I mean, and I can't say this being diplomatic or nice because I don't like them personally. But in truth, you can't expect for incompetent people to show you some sort of competence when dealing with this. You can't, and that's just being real.
Okay, so you
I'm
and your
looking in
mouth,
the
but
wrong direction.
let's okay, but and this is where I don't know if I go as far as saying incompetent, but this is where I still feel Bermuda was set up in a full sense of security. Okay,
Mm.
and so now that the proverbial poop may be hitting the fan, now it's gonna test the metal of people because I watched some criticisms. I watched some things on Twitter and some criticisms and saying, "Oh, we're tired of hearing the health minister say I defer." Or we're tired of saying we can't answer that, or we're not sure, we don't have that data in front of us. This now, and especially if these cases start increasing, people are going to, in government, are going to have to step up. And I'm not being disrespectful to anyone, but now you're going to see what the government is made of. Because if this thing gets out of control, and that was my fear in the very beginning, and I was proven wrong, I'm telling you, people
Here's the
better pay
question.
attention.
Here's the question. What restrictions do you believe the government should put in place, if any at all?
I think that Bermuda, and people will hate me for this, I think Bermuda needs to go under a lockdown for 2 weeks, maybe, just to see if any more cases are gonna arise, any more positives are gonna arise, and then they can pinpoint them and contain them. But I seriously think that that's what Bermuda needs.
Elizabeth says people are not understanding how fast it can spread. Um, I think echoing what you just said, there may be many people out there that are asymptomatic spreaders, spreading it further, and use common sense and keep your circle small. But I mean, let's just be honest. There are people going out to drink, and like this has been going on throughout the summer on boats and so on. This is not new behaviors, But what I want to hear from the audience, what restrictions do you believe the government should put in place, if any at all? Carla says a shutdown. You know how I feel about shutdowns, but you also know what I say when people don't be smart, like are not smart. Like when we don't make smart decisions, then and let me just go back to competence, because I don't want to see it always comes across like I'm picking on the government, and it's not that I'm picking on the government, but there's a certain level of confidence you get when certain people speak. I don't get that from the Minister of Health. I would probably feel more confident hearing from a chief medical officer or someone in the ministry or department, but I personally do not get any confidence from someone that's just reading data or reading a press release.
He was there yesterday in the
No,
press conference.
I heard him. What I'm speaking to directly to her. I don't get any confidence when she's speaking. More, it's like I'm there to do a job. And keep in mind, this is the same minister that many years ago, I think she was the AG or something, dealing with conscription. And it's like, it's not, I can't remember the quote, but it was just, that's obviously shaped my thoughts. Like this person legit is just there to do a job.
So I'm gonna debate you on this for a quick sec.
Mhm.
Isn't that a bit hypocritical in the sense, or harsh in the context of, we all know that government ministers they don't know the technicality of their ministries. So to be fair, now, if that was me, although I wasn't a science major, my teachers would tell you I barely passed. But in light of this critical time, I would be studying everything so that I can sound as natural as possible.
But you're exposing a bigger problem. What you're doing, Carla, is making excuses for a stupid ass problem. You're making excuses for a problem. No, what you're doing right now is you're basically saying that what you're saying is that the ministers do not have expertise in the ministries they're overseeing. That's what you're saying, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if that's what you're saying, what you're doing is making an excuse for BS. Because if that's the case, then we should be doing a better job in 2020 of putting people in charge of ministries that they have actually have an understanding of, rather than the traditional how it's been. So no, I don't agree with you at all. Sorry.
I feel you. I feel you, but I do feel that's a bit unfair.
It's not unfair because this BS has been happening for years. Dr. Ewart Brown, what? It's too much of a conflict if he oversaw health? No, we need professionals overseeing areas where they have expertise. For too long, we've accepted what has always been, and we're not getting the results. I have no confidence in this lawyer telling us about health. I don't. So no, I don't accept that it's hypocritical. What I accept is that you just exposed everything that's wrong with our ministers being given these positions, even though they have no understanding of it. And
then my purpose today was served.
Pretty much. There you go. And this is it right here. That's what it feels like. The ministers just regurgitating data.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with both of you. I do.
I don't want you to agree with me. Keep arguing. Anyway, we got to get to the news, but let me go back to some comments. Elizabeth says, mandatory work from home, groups still limited to 25 again. Tamara Richardson says, I'm sorry, the premier himself was in a picture with a full rugby team. Tourists can arrive and go walkabout within 24 hours, despite many day 4 and worst day 8 tests coming back positive. Oh, we cannot forget the rugby picture, but now he's got his name on Twitter about wear a mask, I do too, or whatnot. Like, dude, come on, you were in a picture with people without masks just last week. Seriously, do as I say, not as I do. Happy belated birthday. Maria Seaman says, travelers need to be monitored more closely. No doubt. Deborah Leah Jill Bell says, contact tracing for the new batch of positives is probably a nightmare. Minister Wilson appears like she's getting weary. Okay, well, replace her.
That's a big plate she's got to, like, come on, we got to have some realism in there.
I feel sorry.
That's a massive plate for her to carry right now. That lady is probably aged about 30 years in the last 3 months.
Carla,
I'm not making excuses.
Wake up every morning to do this show. Every morning that you wake up to do this show is a choice that you make. No one's forcing you to do it. That lady that you're talking about made a choice to run for politics. She made a choice to accept David Bart's offer to be the Minister of Health. Do not.
And I think it's unfair for her to be put in the, I get it. I hear you, but I still feel we have to have a bit of compassion in the sense that's not her act. Like for me, if I was a government minister tomorrow, I want to be in charge of communications. Communications is what I do, right? I hear you. However, before this pandemic, to some, she was sufficient. Now, because it's the pandemic. I can't stand this, man.
Oh, shucks.
I quit.
Carla.
I am sick of you today already.
Carla, I love you. You got it.
He said he loves me.
You got the words this morning. Look, we're going to go to the news. Look, let's be honest. I have compassion for people. I have compassion for people who are going through stuff. I do not have compassion for politicians who legit make a choice to put their name forward in politics. And when the going gets rough, we want to make excuses and feel sorry for them. We're not doing that. I'm not going to allow you to do it. You know why? Because not one of those politicians will feel the same way about you and yours. But we do have to go to the news. Well, trust me, folks, there's going to be an argument after show, too. You all don't get to see that.
The Department of Environment and Natural Resources is investigating a recent incident involving protected parrotfish at the east end of the island. Parrotfish have been legally protected since 1993, and it is an offense under the Fisheries Act 1972 to take, kill, and/or sell parrotfish with a penalty, up to a $50,000 fine and 2 years imprisonment. Minister of Home Affairs Walter Urban expressed his outrage at this latest killing of the protected species. He said, "I'm very disappointed and distressed about this. It is wrong and illegal. I will be looking at increasing the penalties for the killing of any protected species like parrotfish and urge anyone with information about the persons responsible to come forward." Given the possibility that the parrotfish may have been caught to sell, DENR take this opportunity to also remind members of the public that they should only purchase a fish from a licensed commercial fisherman who should provide a valid fisheries ID that indicates that they have approval to sell fish. Meanwhile, the Department of Public Works advises the public that effective on 5 p.m. on Sunday, November 29th, the Department of Parks 2020 season lifeguard service will end. The Park Ranger service will continue patrolling South Shore parks. However, there will be no stationary presence. Despite the challenges faced this season, the ministry thanks the public for their cooperation and support and urges the continued practice of COVID-19 preventative behaviors as outlined by the Ministry of Health when enjoying beach and park visits. This includes the wearing of face masks and maintaining 3 to 6 feet physical distancing. Talking about fish, Jamal, what's your favorite fish?
I'm gonna go with rockfish. Yeah, rockfish.
Well, I think you should change it. Many people have heard of sardines, and the general opinion of them is that they're gross. I've been wanting to let out this laugh for a minute. You're killing me. Oddly, it's also generally true that most people have never tried or in some cases encountered them. If you've never faced sardines, you may be surprised that they find their way into places you've never imagined. As an amazing source of B12 and omega fatty acids, turning your nose up at sardines could be preventing you from enjoying a delicious addition to your meal. Sardine Day is your opportunity to learn about these little fish and how you may already have been enjoying them without your knowledge. Excuse me. If you've ever had soup with a fish-based broth, it is likely the sardine was used to create the fish stock. You've been enjoying sardines for ages, Jamel, and Sardines Day is a great opportunity for you to find out how much you love them. I know what you're having for lunch. Turning to weather, the high in Bermuda is expected to reach 72 today, while New York City will see a high of 54, and Leeds, UK will see a high of 50. Don't forget to tune into the full100radio.com tonight for nighttime jams featuring some of your favorite romantic classics. That's your Daily Hour news break.
Oh, my appetite's just gone for the rest of the day. Sardines.
That was so gross. I was like, what?
If Naeem or Johnny or they tell me you're feeding them sardines, I'm calling Sheila Cooper. I know she can't even do nothing over there. I'm calling her. We're going to take a quick break and hopefully we'll be back with Maxine Simms, famous from Maxilous Salon, to talk about how the pandemic and restrictions and shutdowns have impacted the industry that she's in.
Good day, Medical House Store speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare.
I found myself being a caregiver. Even though I was a nurse, I still needed help on, what was available in hospital beds and all that kind of equipment, and I knew where to go. I went to Medical House.
Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products. These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
I was very pleased with Medical House and the help they gave me when I most needed it.
Your experience with Medical House is about getting your needs met, but we also try to provide knowledge to help you through whatever you're experiencing.
Medical House is on Millreach Lane in Pembroke, where there's private parking right outside the door.
I would recommend them to anybody.
Call or visit Medical House today.
We've already sung the praises of Welch's famous grape juice, so healthful and refreshing, a truly great family favorite. So with the festive season fast approaching, remember to stock up on Welch's sparkling juice cocktails, flavorful and thirst-quenching, another celebration of the greatness of the grape. The Welch's White, Red, and Rosé are all wonderful on their own, but for a special seasonal treat, try Welch's sparkling juice cocktail in festive punch recipes, garnished with cinnamon sticks or fresh cranberries. All non-alcoholic and also festive. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Welcome back to the big show. It's the Daily Hour. Carla Zul, myself, Jamal Hartman. Thanks again to Medical House, Lindo's, Channel 82, where you can also watch the show if you are not on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. I'm just having my stomach. I'm getting a little sick. I mean, Carla, barbecue, sardines, tomato sauce on toast, sardines, mayo, and boiled eggs, sardines, sandwiches. Can we forget about this? Like, what's going on?
They are disgusting. But you out here in the UK, they come in all different flavors, and people love them, and they just eat them raw out of the tin.
I need to place a bet with you, and whoever loses between you and I, we have to figure out something to bet about. Man, I wish the election was tomorrow. Then we can bet on Dr. Seaman. And then if I won, I would eat this. You would eat this audience. If you win, I would eat this.
You're
Whatever. You
such
know
an
how.
idiot. When we get in Bermuda again together and we have a tennis match,
Oh,
right?
right.
And whoever wins, the loser has to eat at least one
All right,
sardine.
and we could get people to watch this because you might cheat me. Anyway, and so that you don't cheat me, we have a guest today, Maxine Simms, famous. She is the owner of Maxilous Salon. We want to have this conversation because a lot's been said about tourism and hospitality in terms of how they've been hit during the pandemic, and I think people forget about things like the beauty and health industry. And there are so many entrepreneurs, especially in Bermuda, in this industry. So we want to hear from them. By the way, we're also going to have Ms. Karen Hodgkins, owner of Magnum Force Gym, joining us on Friday this week to discuss how gyms have changed and how they've been impacted. So we're focusing on businesses that people haven't regularly talked about in Bermuda as being hit by the pandemic. So without further ado, let's bring in Sister Maxine to have the conversation. Hello, how are you? Can you hear us? All right, we cannot hear you. So let's try something different. Let's try something different. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right, we got you. We can hear you. We can hear you. All
Hi,
right.
Max.
Welcome. Thank you so much. I know it's early. I know most beauty salons are not open this early, so we appreciate you making time for us.
No problem.
Are you open this early, by the way?
Yes, we are. We open at 8.
8. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm a barbershop guy. My barber don't usually open that early. But let's get to the conversation. It's been quite the year, 2020, something I don't think anyone expects to see in their lifetime, which is a pandemic. What was the impact of the COVID-related shutdown and the restrictions on your business in particular, with the industry that you're in?
Well, I would use the word devastating. And one of the reason being is that it was unexpected and almost immediately. Once the government said we had to lock down, there was no grace period. We had to cancel appointments, and it was just a tremendous loss for us.
Well, with the loss, how long was your business shut down? And then obviously having opened back up, you probably couldn't do things as normal. But how long were you shut down, and did it cost you employees as well?
Yes, it costs all of us. If you're not earning, it will cost you some way. We were shut down for approximately, give or take, 3 months. Right. And yeah, it would cost all of us. We still have bills to pay, even though they were deferred, like to the back end of some of the expenses, the lights and stuff. We still have to pay them.
And walk us through, obviously there were stages, and I don't remember, and I don't have it right in front of me, but when Bermuda started to reopen, there were stages and phases, right? When you reopened, what were some of the changes that you implemented for safety? And then has your business as of date, has it returned to the level it was pre-pandemic?
Well, I'll answer the last question first. Definitely not. Business is just not the same. Not being able to accommodate clients as we used to. It used to be 3 of us in the back doing hair. So now it's down to 2, and pretty much we're here. We try to be one-on-one with clients. So when the other staff is off, I'm here by myself with my clients and vice versa. So accommodating clients as we used to, because my salon is, I'd say, pretty small. So we have to accommodate clients in order to protect them and ourselves. That way we're able to do less.
Okay. And when it came to reopening for safety, what kind of things did you implement? Was there additional, because I remember reading articles back when we were talking about the reopening phases about PPE, and was that an added expense? And did you like underwrite it yourself, or did you put it onto clients? What kind of PPE did you put in place?
Well, pretty much as for safety, the only thing we had to do different, it was the protective gear and like the plexiglasses and stuff. We normally wouldn't have sanitizers on hand, but we have to use barbicide. We have to wash our hands. We use the 90% alcohol on clients and ourselves. So that's a form of sanitizing. But as far as like the Purell and stuff, we never used to use those, just the 90% alcohol. The expense came in acquiring the PPE. I remember buying the temperature
thermometer
for $200. I only got it because I wanted to open up safely. I could have gotten it online much cheaper. I probably could have shopped around and got it cheaper, but I was purchasing everything at that particular establishment. And I had to get face shields that we never normally wear. We usually wear the mask, but I got face shields. Normally we wouldn't wear the gown. We had to get those, and they were pretty expensive. We did not directly pass the expenses onto the client, but what we did was we stopped offering the discounts that we used to in order to try to make up back for purchasing the PPEs.
Gotcha.
Now, Maxine, the social side of hairdressing, I know, well, when I came to your salon, we'd have laughs and talks and everyone's giggling. How has now, with all of these rigid health requirements or safety requirements, how has it affected the dynamic of getting your hair done, period, or receiving salon services?
Well, socially, we're still jovial persons. When I just started, persons was like, "Am I coming to do a surgery, or am I coming to get my hair done?" Because they would be in gowns, we are in gowns, the mask, everything. It's like you were literally going to get a procedure done in the hospital. So yeah, we still giggle and stuff like that, Carla. But not much has changed on that dynamic, but the conversation changes,
Now, here in the UK, salons have been closed, nails, my daughter's like, oh, I need a pedicure. Those are the services that you offer. And listening to the debate, even out here in the UK, people look at it as hair salons and to get your nails done is a luxury as opposed to a necessity. What would you say are the psychological benefits of grooming for women, especially during this time? Like, why is a business like yours important to a woman's psyche?
I would say that, your appearance does have a lot to with how you feel, how you express yourself, your self-confidence. So I would say getting a service done is not considered a luxury. It's more, I would say, therapeutic, So in terms of that, persons are still willing to come providing it's safe. But
now,
yeah.
So, Max, I mean, you can't ignore that what's happening in Bermuda right now, the positives are increasing. What do you predict could happen if this isn't contained? What would it do for your business? Could your business survive another wave of shutdown?
To be honest, I don't think so. I really don't, because it's like a domino effect. I myself may be able to survive, but I have staff. I could pivot into retailing. I could, sell care packages, care maintenance packages. But what will my staff do? and there's no business without staff. So it will definitely affect us tremendously.
Yeah, and I think we were just talking about earlier before you came on about a pending shutdown, and let me just be clear: the government has not mentioned that. This is just part of the conversation on the show. And if another shutdown were to happen, how it may impact businesses that already, took a hit earlier this year, and you've just stated that it probably would be the end for your business.
Yes, pretty much, because remember, salons, gyms, we're in direct contact with our clients. We have to be close to them. We have to handle them, especially for the nail technicians. You're in direct contact. So it's not like this business can be operated online as many others are able to. So definitely it would be just devastating for this industry.
I know right now a lot of people, and one of the big words of the pandemic is pivot. And you mentioned that for yourself, you may be able to sell products and so on. Do you think that there's enough space? I don't know, have a number of how many salons there are in Bermuda, but is there enough space where everyone can pivot and maybe teach things on YouTube and sell products? And is there enough space for everyone to win like that, even creating opportunities for your staff online?
Well, the fact that each salon will have their clientele base, so it would be expected that the clientele would support the respective businesses. So I think it would be enough. The other challenge, however, Jamal, is that me ordering products, I'm low on stock because my manufacturer is telling me they are not able to get raw materials to produce the products. So their backlog, and so am I. So it has impacted the industry on different levels, not just having clients coming in.
As you mentioned you have staff, as the owner of a salon, how do you keep the morale of your staff high, knowing the tense times that we're in, especially within your industry?
It's hard, but we have to motivate each other, just try to be optimistic, have faith that things will get better, hoping that persons will take the responsibility of protecting themselves, and not try to blame he or she. Each individual has the onus to protect themselves and others around them. And that, in my opinion, that's the only way we're going to see this virus subsiding here in Bermuda. And that's the only way we're going to be able to do business as usual.
And what, obviously Carl was talking about earlier, we were having a conversation about the rise in cases in Bermuda, and it looks like 8 new cases were reported yesterday, 7 local transmission, and 1 imported. With that said, if you could speak to the Bermudian people right now, what would you say as far as containing the virus? Because I think you might have mentioned the trickle down effect, right? It's domino effect. For every person that doesn't adhere or spreads it, then there's more of an opportunity that this business may close and this person may lose a job, and there's less money flowing in the economy and less opportunities to actually get out and socialize in the future. So what would you say to people, if anything?
Like I said earlier, the onus is on us to protect ourselves and other persons. And that's the only way I see us moving forward safely, is by us protecting ourselves and not depending on any entity to do so for us. Yes, they have to put things in place. They have to have policies and procedures. But we, as the people, need to protect ourselves. Be responsible, be honest, knowing that you have traveled. If you're able to, sit the full 12 to 14 days out, just to be safe. I think that's the only way.
Indeed. I would concur. I think it's again, it's a tense time. One of the things, and I keep repeating what former senator and former police commissioner Jonathan Smith said. It was easier to do it in countries like South Korea and China because you know they're used to being told, having authoritarians telling them what to do. In Bermuda, in the U.S., people believe in this type of freedom and don't want to be told what to do. And I understand it. I agree with them. But at the end of the day, will continuously say that when we don't make smart decisions, then those entities will have no choice but to make decisions for us. So, my hope is that for businesses like yours, for the staff like yours, for everyone, that people think bigger than themselves and do what's best for themselves, their loved ones, and the people in their community and the country as a whole. Maxilous Salon, just tell us where you're located and some of the services that you offer, so for those who don't know.
Okay, we're located on 69 Friswell Road, right across from the National Stadium, west of the Pink Seventh-day Adventist Church on the T-junction of Roberts Avenue and Friswell Road. We can be contacted on 293-5787. We offer many different types of manicures, different types of pedicures. Hair services would include weaves, braids, installing wigs or making wigs, relaxers, cut style, just about everything.
All righty. And we do have a comment coming in. Mia Hartman says your salon has treated your clients extremely well during this pandemic. I am actually going to make my appointment this morning to get ahead in the event that we go into lockdown again.
Thank you.
We have some stalker do that pretty late.
You're so stupid, Jamal.
Max, thank you so much. Honestly, thank you for taking the time to come on and have this conversation. I especially want people to remember the domino effect of this. And, it's bigger than ourselves.
I want to say thanks to you both as well. It's an honor to be on your program. I watch most mornings and share. But to you, Carla, I must extend my gratitude, because I remember when we started, you were one of the persons who helped us to put us out there. So I want to say,
I told you about, I was like, I have to share this really quick, funny story. So Maxine was making me a wig, right? And I had to do something for work. I was working at Bermuda Broadcasting, and I thought it would take short time. Remember this day, Max? I thought it would take a short time. And I'm like, Maxine, I have to be at work at, I think it was 11. So the only thing she had was this long flowing wig, Jamal. It was hilarious. And I had to do camera work on 24th of May, and they're marking the names. People were like, I literally think I took it off her head. I was like, I need to get to work.
Yes, you did.
That's how much her and Chris supported me when I had the show. They always sponsored my hair, and I will always be grateful for that. So thank you too.
Wonderful. Yes. Sponsor my hair. A little something. But no, honestly, thank you. And just please know that you have your friends over here that have your back. If you need us, just let us know.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thanks, y'all.
All righty. All right. Great conversation. I think there's so much to take from that conversation, though, Carla. There's so much to take from it. Go ahead.
Even because watching Maxine and then reflecting on Dakia yesterday, I think also some people lose sight of the psychological impact of the owner of the business. I can't imagine what that must feel like to go, like your life just switch. And I see a lot of people out here in the UK like this, where they're saying this multi-million-pound business is shutting down, and all these department stores across America, like life literally changed just like that. And so for me, why can't we as individuals do all that we can, whether we believe it exists or not, meaning this pandemic, this COVID, to eliminate it so that people can get back to life? Because that's got to be hard.
Yeah, and you felt it. You felt it. The mental impact, the emotion as she spoke, right? and how her business and caring more about the staff. It is a domino effect. So those are things we need to take into consideration. Nikki, Michelle, Carla.
Bermuda is well overdue to become manufacturers of many of the things that we use. This pandemic should have taught us that we need to be more self-reliant. The government should start to explore areas of opportunity that we can become manufacturers in, and then interested entrepreneurs can move accordingly.
Yeah, I love that. Bermudians becoming manufacturers of their own things. Less things imported, more things created.
When I was doing my research for my thesis, they talked about I read an article about a company here. They were a brewery, small gin brewery,
UK,
and sorry, in the UK, but I've said it twice already. Yes, in the UK. But when the pub shut down, what they did instead was use I don't know the science part of it, but whatever they used as the ingredient, because gin orders slowed down, they turned to making hand sanitizer. So they were able to convert their business demands or needs to fulfill needs in a different way. So it is, Nikki makes a very valid point.
Actually, it makes me want to share the thing that I have up on my WhatsApp status. Let me find it real quickly, if you all don't mind. Just give me a minute. Just look at Carla real quickly. Look at her pretty face while we find my WhatsApp post. But it was pretty.
He's being nice to me now. He must be going to debate me for another 4 minutes.
Oh, we're going to debate. That's not over. But no, pretty much the WhatsApp post to Nick, your comment, and Nick it says, take a thing you're good at and figure out how to turn it into 3 different businesses. The example is, if your thing is fitness, you can do 1, personal training, 2, a fitness course, 3, live coaching via Zoom, Skype. Now you have 3 different sources of income that you can scale. So that's kind of an idea to their point of, what we can do to be creative, especially in times like this. Leslie, I want to touch on this comment. Some Bermudians, quote, government can't tell me what to do, end quote. Then also some Bermudians, quote, the government needs to help us more, end quote. Look, I don't even know if that's just a Bermudian thing with all that's going on in the US, right? But it's so true. It's so true. It's you have to choose a side. And I'm on this side, honestly, I really am on the side is the government's not here to save us. They're here to provide, to pass legislation and enact policies that are supposed to be in the best interest of the people in the country. That's it. They're not here to sustain our lives or give us what we want. That's real. But I think the government has to bear some of the responsibility as well of making people feel like dependency is okay. But dependency, we have to rid ourselves of that. Rick Olson says Goslings did the same in Bermuda.
Talking about the gin to hand sanitizer.
Yes. Okay. Got it. Carla, real quickly on I want to get people's perspective. Are you yourself, right? I know how you feel about the whole COVID thing. Would you be comfortable going to a salon right now?
To get my feet done, and probably my hair, because where I usually get my hair done out here in Manchester, they've put up big shields and they're really strict. I wouldn't feel uncomfortable. I even asked the stylist, how do you feel like, because when you lay your head back to get your hair washed, people are breathing up on you. But they said they wear the plastic shields as opposed to just the mask. So I wouldn't feel unsafe. I went to get a pedicure before this lockdown now, and we had to sign in. We did temperature. We had to put in your address for contact tracing. I felt safe, and there were 4 clients in there at the time, and with 2 stylists, 2 operators as such, and I felt safe. So, but I could go to the grocery store right on Sunday. I saw it was 1,000 people in the grocery store. So I just think, for me, I just keep my distance from people. I wear my mask anywhere I go. Even I had to make a choice. The boys, they've reconvened academy football. That terrifies me. But they say they're doing the temperature checks. So I'm like, but it's a contact sport. How can you guarantee? They've been training now, they've been back for about 2, 3 weeks, and so far so good. So I think it's kind of weird. You have to put your guard down a bit within safety precautions.
I want to hear from the audience as well. What are you all comfortable going back to salons at this point? How do you feel? I mean, I have, and kind of pretty much with what Carla has just stated. Although I find the barbershop are very strange because wearing masks in there and then taking them off to get your haircut, it's strange to me. Like, I don't know. Some things make no sense to me about this. But even, let's say, when I got my massage with Miss Torcolado or whatever, like they do your
nickname for everybody.
Your temperature, and you cannot go inside. So you have to check in outside, and you can only go in once they text you to say come in, and you go straight to your room. There's a lot of precautions taking place. I remember saying this about September 11th. After that happened, it was probably one of the safest times to travel. There was security everywhere. And I actually feel that way about the services that I do right now. So I'm believing that it's actually one of this, even when we heard Maxine talk just now, it's actually one of the safest times to probably go to a salon, right? Nachiko Trot says, yes, I have been to the salon for hair and feet. And Katie DG says, I was in Bermuda this summer and I found that it was more strict on the mask, etc., than the UK. You haven't been to Bermuda for it, but do you find the UK loose based on what you hear in Bermuda, Carla?
Yeah, because they say it's weird. Masks are mandatory, but if you don't wear one, technically they can't force you to wear one. So like I said before, some of the grocery shops are like, well, they're mandatory, but we're not going to mandate it. So you have some people who walk in. A guy in front of me on Sunday, the guy said, mate, where's your mask? He was like, I don't have one. And he just kept going. So you have some people who are very steadfast in not wearing a mask.
They call ladies mate.
No, it was a man in front of me. Well, some they do, but no. So I see exactly where Katie's coming from. I watched pictures. This is the weirdest thing to me. This is the one weird thing. Went to a restaurant for lunch with my daughter. You must wear a mask if you're standing up, but if you're sitting down, you don't have to wear a mask. I don't get that.
You know, this, to quote Dr. Karika Weldon on Friday, I think she said this is a strange virus. I think even the way we've reacted to it has been kind of strange. Katie DG says, what I did notice is that where I was staying, there were a few U.S. tourists and they did not pay attention to the self-isolating on first day. Well, they are U.S. tourists. Carla.
Hi, Shika, class of 91. The salon I use for my nails has an occupancy limit of 12 now, including technicians, half of what it was before. Not sure how they are surviving. I went in July and last week. I'm sorry, I used to go monthly.
Angie Can says, I'm okay with it, but have to wear gloves for massages. Some like and some don't. Yeah, interesting. I was told, I think my wife was telling me at a certain place they actually have to wear gloves. And I'm like, how does a massage with a glove work? What does that feel like? Robert Durham says, I don't get the temperature checks when people can be asymptomatic.
Because the fever is one of the first signs, although I know you said asymptomatic, of knowing if they have it. Because your body's fighting something.
Mary Lee Watson says it's been very safe. They clean the stations down after each person, take temperature, and sanitize your hands on arrival. That's Mary. Charles Jefferson says, at my barbershop, the barber wears a mask and gloves. Clients must wear a mask even when getting your haircut. They take your temperature before starting. Well, my haircut.
I want to see your beard then.
Yeah, my haircut's all about the beard. You know, I mean, I don't have much up there to take care of. So, you know, Nick and Carla.
Going anywhere at this point will depend on safety standards. I was out for a very small birthday gathering this weekend and it was socially distanced, so it was fine. But then we moved into Hamilton and the crowds were literally pouring out the doors with no mask and casually taking names.
Where out there? In Florida? Gee.
So real quick on that, I worked at a pub and we did sign in at the door.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, you would see people, this is the paper, and they'd be looking around and they'd go like this to pretend that they're writing. And I'm like, put your name down. I stopped fighting with them. So you know what ended up happening? Someone got a COVID positive that had attended the pub. When they went to call the people on the list, none were valid numbers.
Wow. Can't bite people back in the you know what that fast. Carla, we have a daily play to get through. Here it is. Very quickly. We're speaking about a pandemic. The pandemic known as the Spanish flu started in what year?
Oh, 1862? 1902? It was 100 years ago. 1900? I don't know. I know it was 100 years ago. We just went across the graveyard too. I can't remember.
People help out. This is so easy.
I said 1920.
No, you said 18, whatever.
I said 1862. Okay. I knew it was 100 years ago.
1918 is the year.
Thank you, Z.
Pandemic known as the Spanish flu started. So, yes, it was a long time ago. And yeah, look, a couple of 1918s. I'm not even going to say people Google it. That might have been too fast. Carla, what you got as far as inspiration for us?
I'm sorry. You just make me laugh about today. Has been a thoroughly enjoying day, and it hasn't even started yet. So my inspiration for today is courtesy of Meghan Markle. Don't give it 5 minutes if you're not going to give it 5 years. I don't think she means relationships, though.
Well, that's where I was going. that's where I was going. That's good advice. Don't do it, fella. No, thank you for that. Any final words from today?
No, just try to support each other and be gentle with each other, because we don't know what we're going through in our personal lives, dealing with this pandemic, personal stuff, period. Just be gentle.
Yeah. And I think it's important that while we hold people accountable, this is what I want people to get out of the exchange earlier. I do mean it when I say incompetent people, but I don't mean it in a derogatory way. Like, I'm not competent when it comes to music. I can't read music. I don't think it's an insult for someone to say that to me. But I think certain words are looked at as such bad things. What I want people to understand is, we spoke about it with Maxine. Carla mentioned it. Tamara Richardson mentioned it. Personal responsibility. We have to take control of our own situations. And so we cannot rely on people who are not experts and literally just regurgitating data and information they're given to provide us with a way forward. It's within us to do better. And, the best way to prepare and fight things, sorry, I said that all wrong. The best way to fight things is to prepare for them. Seriously, we have to take care of ourselves a bit better. And that means I'm going to go easy on the French fries and chips. I'm feeling like a potato chip right now, too. I've got some hot ones back there, too.
Oh, wait a minute. Because I was on this fast for a month. I broke the alcohol thing, but I only had one order of fries since November the 1st.
Really?
Yeah, I
had
really
fries last night, Carl. I had fries last night. But
I couldn't do about the alcohol. I broke that last week, but I've only had one order of fries, and I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah.
And no fried chicken, not one bit.
Yeah, my gym sessions are becoming pointless because all I'm doing is fighting that French fry I had yesterday and that pumpkin brownie. And anyway, it's not about me. Look, we've got Bermuda College joining us again tomorrow. Thanksgiving, the U.S. Thanksgiving Thursday. And like I said, we're going to be talking with Karen Hodgkins from Magnum Force Gym to talk about that industry as well on Friday. So that said, all good things must come to an end. So we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, Carla will be back with you tomorrow, depending on what she does to me after the show, because she's mean, folks. She is mean. Just got an F and an S and a B waiting for me. And hey, thank you. Till tomorrow.
It's coming.